now.
Okay, let's invite the people in.
Yeah. Do you need anything else from me, or?
I think we're all right.
Okay. Give the cards a shot if you need anything else.
Thank you. Well, welcome guys. I got in between that I don't know the pronunciation in English. I am Leo the Fox, also known as El Zorrito Viajero or the Traveler Fox from Latin America. I'm a fursuiter, a fursuit maker from Argentina that travels around the world in fursuit. So today I will present you how to fursuit all over the world. First of all, we will have to talk about type of fursuits. We have a lot of type of fursuits. We have full quantity, visual wetsuit, full partial, middle partial, quantity half-suit, visual half-suit, and half-suit. So the only one I'm going to go is the quad-suit, also because it's an unusual one that neither I have used or seen dozen. So we're going to start with fursuit is the ideal for each place you can fursuit on. So where to fursuit? The first and most obvious place is at home. Where else would you start if not there? Here you pretty much can use any type of fursuit, from a full t-shirt to a partial or shirt ahead. The only thing that I recommend is try not to annoy your neighbors or make some kind of radioactive thing that says "oh" with a microwave. And well, the disadvantages is that you may not be allowed into the couch because you hate it. So pretty much at home, there's not much else to say. Now, Furmeets. Most of you should be, or maybe aware of what it is. They're usually meets of furs, thanks to the London, on public places around the cities. Usually they are on parks, near shopping malls, in green spaces. They tend to be free. Some cases, like for example, normal foods, it may be inside a bar, separated space. And well, it depends on exactly the place you're going to be and if it's a food walk or a Furmeet, if you recommend to use a fursuit or not. If you're going to be walking around, you can go with a fursuit, but be aware you're going to get cold really quick. Especially if you're not going in winter. I am someone that has gone in fursuit on a 30-degree day on a food walk. I do not recommend, please don't do that. So, well, on the different cities, there are different rules on security and such. Always check on which place does the Furmeet take place before going into the suit, of course. And well, on any public space you go and you have to cross streets, always you have to be very careful when you move around. If you're inexperienced on walking around with a suit, it's recommended to have a handler. If you're really experienced, like me, for example, I have 7-8 years on my back. Doing this, you may know the one, but always careful, for example, when crossing the streets. As good as your fursuit may be, you will always have limited vision, so be very careful, look both sides on crossing. Especially if, in the case of most of you, you go to the continent where the cars go the other way, or in my case when I'm here, that the cars go the other way for me, but not for you. It's weird, you know what I mean. So, well, the thing that on this Furmeets is that as they take place on public spaces, you will come across a lot of humans. I'm sorry for those present here that identify as one. I don't mean to offend, but there's many in the street that don't know what are whereabouts. So we would likely get taken pictures of them or ask what is your reason to be here. We're going to develop that topic a little more for you. Then we have anime, cosplay, and video game conventions. Here is another space where you're going to find tours. If there's cosplay, there's going to be parties. So this is a nice place. Usually these places get pretty packed, and you may not be allowed in with food or with water. So you can go with a fursuit, but be aware that it's going to be a lot of people, so you have to be really careful. Do not hit anyone with your tail. Your horns, if you have them, your ears, or whatever wings, or ings, come out of your suit. here, pretty much that's the recommendation. It has happened specifically in this event to me that people put on my tail, but that can happen anyway. Just keep that in mind when you do that. But you will have a lot of fun. It's actually a place where many fools start before even going to Furmeets. Now, cities in general. Let's suppose there is no Furmeet at all. So you go. You say, okay, I'm going to go out. Again, here, if you're not used to fooling around, alone, you say, you go with a handler, please. If you especially if you have big balls like me, and you are not used to working with them, have someone guide you. If you're experienced, you can go ahead, just check the neighborhoods we're going on. As everyone may know, some neighborhoods are safer than others, and some may not allow people going around with their face covered. So have that in mind. Again, check the weather. Don't walk around the city in full suit on summer. And well, be careful crossing the street. Expect a lot of people to ask you what are you doing, and remember, never charge for photos. Some people say it's bad, some people say it's good, but that may get you kicked out of a lot of places. So keep that in mind. Oh, various transport. Well, on cities to get to places, usually take a transport. But I will know you. I do take a transport. I don't drive. So on the transport, there are different routes, on different cities, on different transports. So, for example, on the case of buses, on the case of buses and also trains, you have to check the route and the time you do this. If you go on a fursuit, you don't want to get into a parked transport, or one that's going to get very full, because well, it's going to get uncomfortable for you and everyone else around you. On the case of buses, some buses may think that you're going to do an act to ask for money, so they will ask you what are you doing, and if you clarify to the driver, you will allow him in. In the case of subways, metros, undergrounds, however you prefer to go these tin cans that go under the ground, taking people from point A to point B. The recommendation that I can give on those is, if you go on fursuit or with legs, mind that it's likely that if the seats are made of fabric, they're going to be dirty, so you may not want to sit down there. If you do travel in the underground with fursuit, be aware that your ears will likely hit any poles if you're taller than 150. Your tails may get stuck on doors, turntables, that's a music player. Turnstiles and any kind of door or automatic thing that allows you in and out of the transport or the place. So have that in mind. As for the rest, again, check the routes so it doesn't get really full with you or in mountain. I have experienced fursuiting in the central line of London, for example. For those that have traveled there, you know it's pretty hot. I don't recommend fursuiting there. Better go for those lines that are above ground, at least Paso. The subway of Buenos Aires, I have experience as well fursuiting around. Some lines are better, some others not so much. I'm not going to clarify specifically of those because I don't think any of you quite plan to go there. Okay, then we have trains. On the trains, again, check the routes. Some trains, at least where I am from, go from pretty bad zones, so you may not want to get into some of them on your fursuit. In general, if you're going to own any of these transports that may get packed, I do recommend to go in a partial or mini partial, as you can easily take it on or off depending on whatever people is around or how many people is around. At some point you may get comfortable to be on this. Then what do we have? Furcons Parties. Well, for those that don't know what a Furcon is, I want to congratulate you. That is quite a new level of being lost. Welcome to Confuzzled. This is a Furcon, so I hope you have found yourself. These conventions are safe places for fursuiters and any furry that has a suit. They are safe places where we can go about our shenanigans, as we are here. Well, they take place usually in hotels or convention centers. Here you can use any fursuit from just a hair to a fursuit, I would say, as long as it as it complies with the house rules of the convention, of course. If you are aware of those, beginning from it, on this convention or any others, these tend to be on both the website of the event and on the combo. The last one, not the one that shows the time here. On this convention as well, here we are, green panels, we are out of course, fooling around and having fun as a fluffy team. So pretty much I don't know much to say. Here we are all together, so you know what it is. Now, airports. This is one that many people get scared about when I send the pictures. Now, I'm going to ask you all a question. Can you walk into an airport with your fursuit on? You can answer. What do you think?
Yes.
Maybe.
I've seen it before.
Into, not all the way through.
Into the airport. Can you walk into an airport on fursuit?
I think
I know.
after COVID we can. Because now you can always say it's a face cover.
Yes. Well, that's a way to put it, but the answer is depends. You cannot straight up walk into the airport with a face cover. Because yes, you can be with a mask, but the mask doesn't cover all of your face. If you have a face mask that covers also your eyes, I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of face mask are you using. But no, on an airport, you cannot walk straight up with your fursuit on into the airport. That is a red flag for any kind of airport in the world. But you have to go inside, do all your customs things, dispatch your luggage, greet the guards, look at the camera, show that you have the fursuit, and then you can put it on. It's important that you let the security of the airport know who are you before, as a human, before you put the suit on. Otherwise, you're going to be a red flag for them and the security is going to show them. Of course, every time you... so, that is the main thing. I recommend on an airport that you go with a mini parcel or just a parcel, as you may have to put it on and off multiple times to go to security. If you go with a full suit, it's going to be problematic. Also, depending on the country or airport you're going, they may ask like, hey, what do you have on your legs? Or why you have so big feet? It will be kind of red writing to the airport thingy. Why you have all these, you will have to take it out. So it's recommended to just over your head, as you can see I do usually. Just a tail, head, and paws. That's the easiest thing. Carry should not put it on. Now, as an annex to airports, you have train terminals. Train terminals vary a lot. There are big important train terminals like King's Cross and Pancras, and there's very small ones like this one here. It's Federico Lacrosse in Buenos Aires. The rules there, especially if you're in any terminal that is kind of international, again, as an airport, you have to show your face before doing your fursuit thing, to avoid having any kind of issues or problems with security. After that, you can go about your business. Again, keep in mind which train routes go there, so you don't fall into a place that is not ideal to be in fursuit. For example, there are some train stations I've been to, but I wouldn't fursuit on. There's Retiro in Buenos Aires, where it's usually a place where you usually will live without a wallet and without a phone. So you probably don't want to be there on fursuit either. I forgot to put a picture here. I have a suit in King's Cross, La Gare du Nord in Paris. So although it's perfectly okay, as long as the security see your face before you do. The only thing, when you fursuit on a train station, be careful when you take these kind of pictures. You cannot show the ticket offices. That is kind of a general rule. You cannot take pictures from ticket office on most train stations for reasons, even if it doesn't show anything, so don't do that. You will be fine. Oh, planes. Well, you survived the adventure to go in fursuit to a plane. There's a airport, and here you are, ready to take your plane, like I did to come here from this bar. Now, are we able to board the plane on fursuit?
Yes.
Kind of. Once again, It depends on a few matters: the country that you're doing so, the airport that you're doing so, and the crew of the airplane as well as the airline. I have gone to a few planes. Here we have this is British Airways, for example. This is an Argentinian Airlines down here. The Swedish, Argentinian, and I think that one is someone from Scotland. I honestly lost track at this point. So, if you're going to get into an airplane with your fursuit, please do not go in full suit, especially if you have one like this. Your feet are not going to fit, likely not to fit inside an economy seat. Going to be uncomfortable, going to be hot up really quick. It's not going to be nice. Also, having the table in crib is a bit. Now, I have boarded a plane with my fursuit once without any problem. They allowed me to went through the gates and into the plane with the suit. Of course, I have shown my full documentation for that. Remember, it's very important to be documented to go there. And by the way, if you need one, I can choose something. So, you can board there. I have boarded with these Polish shenanigans. Of course, these are just toys, they're nobody. You have to show your actual ID. When you show this, you sometimes maybe allowed in, but most of the time they will ask you, show me your real ID, your face, and you can go in. Yes, you will have to show your face, what are surprised to get into the plane. And you will be able to board. Then, for example, on British Airways, the first time I tried, they told me I would be with a full head all the time. Just remember, on these kind of cases, the most ideal suit is a Paso, easy to put on. I was able to use it most of the flight, except the takeoff and landing, because it's likely to have it's most likely that there could be a decompression during that period, and you need to have your facing covered in order to put the air mask. So remember, if there's a decompression, the air mask fall in front of you from the roof, and you have the exits located on your left and right. Now, on my last flight on British Airways, for example, they told me I could visit protections, but I could not have it on during the trip because of reasons we would not specify. But here that we have the picture with the Aerolíneas Argentinas crew, I have spoken actually with the pilot of one of their aircraft, and she gave me some advice to do this there. Yes, that is part of decompression when they call and landing. It's true, so you cannot have your face covered, but all along with it may also happen. That's why you cannot travel easily to head on all the time. You can put it on for a few minutes, take out some photos, and take it off. Now, this is totally up to the mood of the pilot. If you get a pilot that doesn't like fursuit at all, you cannot do it. You won't be able to do this. I have a flight from Santiago de Chile to Buenos Aires, on which, as soon as the pilot saw me, he went mad. He started screaming at me. No shock, he started screaming at me. The land crew had to go into the plane to calm him down. I'm not sure what was going to him, but I could not use the fursuit there. It was the only time it happened. That you can imagine. That's why you have to have a suit. This is very cool to apply. So, the recommendation is the way inside, it's outside, so don't worry. Never show this if you're not on fursuit, please. Never, I apologize not. And the next page we have is boats and ferries. So, ferries, first of all, it's what in this case it's not ferries corrected by the autocorrector, but it's an actual ship that goes through a body of water. Now, you have different types of boats and ferries. You have those that are like the I lost the word. Like the river bus in London, or the lancha colectiva in the Tigre, Buenos Aires, that are like city transports by water. And then you have those that go through big bodies of water, like like the catamarans, you can call them, that goes from Buenos Aires to Montevideo, those that go through the Beagle Channel in General Fuego, or those that go through Loch Ness. Now, on the case of those like Loch Ness and Travell Fable, that they are open and process big bodies of water, where it's really windy, you have to be very careful. Can you go in a full suit? You can, at your own risk. The problem with you crossing big bodies of water with nothing around you is that there are really strong and really cold winds. So if you're only covered by your fursuit, as warm as it looks, the wind will go through the fabric like if you were not using nothing. Flanders style, nothing at all, nothing at all. So you're going to freeze. It's recommended, like here, go with human clothes for the cold and not covered with cloth. Especially because always you get wet for whatever splashes, it's not going to be nice. Now, on these cases, like Loch Ness or the Great Channel, the wind is also going to be an enemy against your suit. Sorry, dog tourists, but you cannot look into the wind and sit your tongue out. Because if you face straight to the wind with your fursuit and raise your muscle slightly, the wind is going to push it up from below and it's going to blow your hair off. So always try to face away from the wind with the muscle and have it well tucked, the neck well tucked into your cloth, jacket or whatever you use. If your suit also has straps to hold it under your armpits, that is also helpful. As well as your tail, you need to have it properly secured with a belt. Try to have trousers that have belt hooks to hold it on. And always have the hands tucked into the waist. Now, the handles are another problem on this carpet. The wind is constantly trying to push you away, and you will try to hold from the railing. The problem with the railing is we have no grip. We have plush belts, usually made of polar, felt, and fur. So if you hold into a pole, you're going to fight. I almost fell once into Loch Ness, like I didn't. You know, right? So be very careful with that. Do have someone to hold you in case you're falling or something. You have to be very careful. If you fall into the water, you're going to sink. These things, when you get wet, it becomes steps. So be super careful. And also, don't go with fursuit fits, because once again, no grip at all, it's going to slip. Other boats we have, like the ones that cross Uruguay or the river crosses, are usually nicer places for fursuiting, on the meaning that they're closed. So you can go in full. For example, on the hookable service to Uruguay, you can pretty much go on a fursuit, and you will have no problem, maybe a little fee. Just show your face on immigration, and you'll be all fine. The only place on the case of that boat that you couldn't go into was on duty free. Same happens on an airport. You cannot go into an airport duty free with your fursuit on, except you chat with the staff and maybe get friends. We're going once, so you have to try of help. Oh yes, on this kind of river buses, it's pretty safe to do any kind of tour. And if they ask you to take your head, you want to take your head. Yeah, why don't you have? Oh, read as an alchemy. This is another situation when you can use your fursuit, read as an alchemy. This one was very little the situation you're getting into. If you're going to do alchemy, first of all, be careful, don't piss off the witch. You don't want to be turned into a human, much better. And be very careful not to throw any fur into the cauldron. I have done that. The potion doesn't work away. Be careful, please. Well, of course, try to not bend your tail to remove the solid circles of your rituals or cause into a fire. As well, try not to blow up yourself or burn yourself. Always have a non-furry helper, either a scaly human or anyone that doesn't have fur or feathers to light any fires. Now, on the actual note of what I have these pictures here is for photography, of course. On this photo here of the vehicle, I have actual candles around me. Free Safety 101 as a wise rule from a farewell land safe, Free Safety 101 will burn easy. Very easy. If you're going to do something with fire in your suit with a child or device, like in the case of this photo taken by Dynamo by the Matrix, is that you have to set up everything without the fire. You sit down in the middle, stay totally still like a stone. The other person with a light on, with cone light thing, turn the lights off, take the pictures, repeat the process to turn it on, and then you can move. If you're doing this, you have to be completely still like if you're a statue. Otherwise, that tail can become a torch. Very careful with that. I don't advise you really to do that, but if you're going to do photography of this, you have to be still. It can be sunset. So always have someone to help you, never do anything with my help. That goes as well for fireworks. Now, mountains and hills. Well, mountains and hills are those rocky, picky things that tend to be around the world for reasons. And they look nice, they give pretty beautiful landscapes, and you also tend to have snow, which is something really nice when you're not also. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen photos of fursuiters in full suit on the snow, or may want to do it. I mean, you can. I personally do not advise. A full suit will get the snow stuck into the hood, and then your heat is going to melt it. Like, you can do it, but you're going to get cold in a very short time. So that is up to you. Either way, if you go with full suit or a partial, never go with the full suit force. Use a cold snow boots. Why? The fits of, especially the fits of full suit, okay, can show them here, are rather kind of not very grippy, a rubber that doesn't have a lot of grip to it. So if you step on snow, something frozen or ice, it will going to slip. It's going to, and it's not very recommended to happen, as much as you have a helmet, a floppy helmet protecting your head. Also, a very important note, but two important notes in fact. If you're going to try to catch mouses like I'm doing, check that there's no stones under the snow. Your nose is going to go if you hit a stone. And something that is really important is please check the weather before you go to a mountain. Because there are some accidents that may happen if you don't. I will have to give you an example here. Yes. That video that I should show you, it's an mountain of the Marshall Mountain in Travell, Argentina, at the very south, 1,000 kilometers from the Arctic. That was 2 hours up on a hike, and was taking pictures and so it got out. Let's put this back. So it's not recommendable to be stuck in a snowstorm up there. Particularly my fursuit handled that very well. Minus the ice, if you get the snow hitting your fuse the paint on the chip, so it's easily component, but at least it's going to protect your face from getting hit by the snow. You don't want to get stuck 2 hours at the mountain on fursuit. I ended up literally rolling down the mountain, which is kind of not ideal, but I survived. I'm here. Remember, this is one of the dumb things I did, so you don't have to. Nope. Take a while. Now, also another thing is like try to not get lost. This picture is very nice, but I got totally lost on the track. That was for fursuiting and not fursuiting. Don't get lost in the mountain. It's bad. My recommendation is make a partial. You can go with a fursuit if you want, but don't do a hike in fursuit. You're going to save a lot, and it's not ideal in this climate. If you're somewhere where there's a cable car, go ahead, take the cable car suit, take the pictures, do your thing, survive, please. Now we have non-snowy mountains. Here we have some examples from the Highlands. The Highlands from Scotland, which is the case. Here on the sort of the snow, when you take a photo, try like it'll be less than less than 2 meters away from a cliff, especially due to reduced vision. Don't fall on a cliff, please. Pretty much as we have in the vision, try to be careful where you step on. Rocks may move, there may be holes, foxholes, I'm not sure. Be careful. You don't want to be the house of another of you. Actually, I can show you another, how do you call it, an experience. It's a bit of, what happened there? Of foxes doing shenanigans in the mountains. You can spot the moments where they must fall. That is all. I don't think I have the quickest out there. And that is spotlighting. I crash at the back. I think I do it again. If you go mudsliding, try not to keep anything or anything. And when you go to catch mouses, try not to hit a rock. Something is important though. Yeah, get this mouse done. So, carrying on. After the mountains appear, we have all the places. Okay, that was not very fine, so let's verify. All the places can be many places. On one side, we have work. You can be at work either online or in person. Online depends on the new location to locate. It goes. At work, at the office, for example, depends about your relationship with the place and the rules of the place. On my case, for example, as long as I go into the office showing my face and my keycard, I could do whatever I want inside. There's always more odd situations, like going to both the Paso we have here. So the class selection from Argentina, the last ones. For the record, I'm not quite aware of the rules from the UK, those, so the experience is specifically from Argentina. You can go inside the place, but you have to show your face to the guard at the entrance. That's because in Argentina it's starting to become a tendency to go dress up to vote. Although I have been the only person of not tried. We had a few Spider-Mans, all the superheroes. Or in a capybara, due to a capybara pig that tried to take over a ball and just get around. You can go into the place after showing your face. You cannot take pictures showing any of the guards, especially the arm. And you have to take the head off to go into the bathroom. But once you took the ballot into the envelope, you can put it into the vote into the envelope, you can put it into the ballot. All the places that we have, for example, here, this is the Informatics Museum of Ferries. There we have a few integrated tools already, so they know us. Forza computers, who will have thought about it? So, as long as you don't break anything, you can go in Fursuit, you can wander around. But don't be like me, don't try to eat the puppets. The museum will like that. But no, I do eat puppets. That's what I have. Well, here it's taking a train, actually, a touristic train in Australia. Pretty much trying not to help convicts to put logs in the middle of the snow. That's what the touristic things, don't worry. Up here we have an example from Uruguay. That is me riding a bike. So, I'm going to ask you again a question. Do you think it's a good idea to ride a bike in Fursuit? Exactly, it's a terrible idea. Here I'm doing it just for the show. I'm going around the fountain, and yes, you're going to get your tail stuck. Don't even try to Fursuit, please, or with fishy legs. Don't try to go anywhere except you can do it a small trip, like I'm going to here to make a chocolate from the uncle attempt to watch. Well, the other place we have over here is ice skating. Now, this can be a great idea or a terrible one. That depends if you know how to skate before doing so. An important thing if you go ice skating first, don't make anyone else fall because you have a faulty helmet, they don't. And well, you fursuit is going to affect your balance. You must bring you up even if you don't think it's weight, it has so much weight, and you'll take the lead back. So when you will have to relearn how to balance yourself. And then if you take off the tail and the head and try to go again, you will notice that you now will not have balance without them. It's a pretty interesting thing. Just be careful not to fall too much and not to destroy your suit in the process. Can you give me examples of this, some of the shenanigans? Like we have, for example, well, I think you may like this one first. It was an attempt. So yes, that is one example, and another example of something that you can do, but please just do it for a short term, is
Estoy grabando.
as you can see, I'm not actually going anywhere here, just a short trip to show that you can, but you shouldn't. I actually almost did something there. Go around. This is Spider Noise video.
Eso.
I have a tail. You trap. That's all. You have to have your tail.
Eso fue a propósito, sí, sí.
So you don't get entangled into the wheels or the chain. Remember, yes, we have tails. Tails get stuck in things. You may know that hawks always get stuck in things and dies. And Sonic keeps going. And look, what else do we have? We have even more places. I mean, you can take the train on Paso around 3/4 and go forward into Fursuit if you want. You may even be able to enchant it so you can blink and do stuff. Or even speak on its own. So you can do all this. Or you can steal a TARDIS like Doctor Who and go to see all the universe, time and space. Although I'm not going to get much into this because otherwise the panel is going to take about 3 days and that's going to be a lot. Can you go with Fursuit on this? I guess you can. Up to your risk, don't go to the sun in Fursuit though. It's going to be really hot. Okay, how do we check? Oh, what to do and what not to do. Like that. So, what to do and what not to do? Well, when you're going to Fursuit wandering around the world, of course, take pictures first. Document your shenanigans, that's the fun of it. What's the fun of Fursuit if you don't have pictures? Always be careful. Try not to annoy too much people. Keep in mind that some people will get scared about your shenanigans because they don't expect the 2-meter fox to appear in front of their face. Anytime you're in a public space, do try to kind of be safe for work-ish at least. As you're always going to come across children when you're doing this, so we kind of don't remember how the world works. If one of us do something wrong, every one of us falls. So please, be careful. So go around, take pictures, try not to break anything. Don't do any crimes in Fursuit, please. That will look bad. Enjoy yourself, really. And of course, shower and wash your Fursuit. Nothing of musky husky or whatever species you are. Clean yourself. Now, something very important is to protect your integrity or knowledge integrity. That's what we're going to speak about false. This chart you may have seen is very common here on UK conventions. If there's people that speak about taking your head off is breaking the machine. That is a rule actually invented by Disney for these fursuiters on their parks. So don't follow that rule. If you're feeling dizzy dehydrated, you have a heat stroke, your head is about to burst. Take off your head, if possible, all your fursuit. Drink water and rest for a moment. Try to feel better before continue. There's no magic, there's no fursuiting magic that is more important than your own safety. Never put your fursuit before your integrity. Also remember that if you happen to have an accident with fursuit, or pass out, or whatever, and the emergency service has to come for you, they're not going to take the 35 steps that you fursuit has to put it on. No, they're going to put it open. Their life, your life is important to them, not the radial you're using. Remember that. For them, these fursuits mean nothing. So, keep that in mind as well. If you don't care about yourself, care about your suit. Preferably, care about yourself first. Now, for others' integrity, remember, we have tails, we have hands, we have ears, and some have horns, wings, feet, or whatever you wish to have. And so be careful, try to not hit anyone with your legs, with your legs on, with your tails, with your ears, with your horns. Don't poke anyone side with your horns, especially, please. And there was something that I wanted to think about. And what? Yes, when people ask us for pictures in the street, it's very common that parents of children or owners of pets will ask us to hold the kids. I think it's kids or cats. They call the humans like to the little ones. I have no idea. I'm not very familiar with humans, sorry. Pretty much never hold a baby, never hold a pet. They will get scared, they will move, and you have no grip. They may fall from your hands and they're going to move right. Luckily for me, I have not had experience to drop someone because I always reject the offer to forward a baby, a kid, or a pet, but I know people that have done it and that can go really wrong. And you can get in a lot of trouble. So it's easy to say no, I'm just saying. So, carry on. Oh, Introduction to Humans 101. This is the class with the unit 1. So, what are humans? And excuse me for all the humans present here. No, was not counting on your presence. The humans, or Homo sapiens sapiens, are the most recent evolutions of our class in the primate forms. Humans, also known as humans, as per the Cambridge Dictionary of the English Free Language. Here we have examples of them. Humans, unlike us, like fur. We are like furless, mostly, while we are fluffy. They don't walk in 2 feet like we do, and are pretty present on most of the world. Here we have the difference of population between furs and humans here in Europe. So you probably have come across a human before, either each time you go outside or inside your own house. That may happen as well. So we're probably have seen one. So humans have different behaviors when they see us. Here is their most usual behavior. This can happen after or even before they ask, what are we doing? They will take pictures. Humans tend to not know what are we doing or what are we about. They usually ask you in a friendly manner, hey, what is going on? Are you here to entertain children? What they usually think about things we are doing, because well, we are floppy animals. I understand the confusion, but we usually are not. Good. Live. So yes, that is the usual. Usually the humans will ask enough for the manner and just be confused. On my experience, I really have had a bad interaction with someone asking me like, what are you doing? And I do forestall. I even go to buy the brightly suit because I'm real about that. So it's unusual to actually happen to you, but it may happen. I had at least 5 interactions in 8 years, in which I have people asking me about manners, so it's not, or tell me something bad in the street, so it's not something bad for me. Most humans are just unaware of what we're doing. Also, the thing of doing, of getting pictures taken by random humans is that we will appear in random places. Here we have one from a friend, from Frankie. This is a random place where you can appear. I had a good way there. This is another example of random race we're gonna be. This is after going to go to Fursuit. This is the profile of reporter from Argentina, from the C5 channel. That may happen. You may also be in random reels. This is apparently a single perhaps or whatever. I have no idea what it is. Random videos. This, for example, it's a video of a group of otakus that was wandering around the city and happened to come across me around foods. This has been one of the most random situations. Some of you may be aware what the Brexit is. I was wandering around Edinburgh in Scotland and came across a manifestation against it, and I happened to have a video there. Not sure how it happened, but it did. This is for just in 2019. Some of you might have been there. Some unfortunately, white door, and here is not concealed. I didn't even use the Brexit until I was there. Other examples that we saw is like here. This is a shitpost page from Argentina, kind of having a flow shooter. And this is Meganon theory video. If Meganon hates food, does he? I don't know. I haven't watched the video, but I'm back there. I don't know how I ended there. And this is the most recent absolute example I have. I'm going to play it for you. It's really short. When you fursuit around as much as I do, you may happen to come across people that will record you without you noticing. And let me see.
Calor, me estoy muriendo de calor y yo no te puedo creer.
So this video was really simple. I think most of you don't speak Spanish, so you are not sure what the person said. So what this person is saying, it's really hot today, and this guy is like, and she carries them. So this video looks really simple, as it is. Do you think it's relevant that I show that here? Well, this video ended up with about 100,000 views. It reached out to Uruguay and Chile, and people started messaging me on Instagram, on Twitter, and all over the place like, hey, who are you and what are you doing? Or how did you appear there? So keep in mind that these accidents may happen. You can call it like Bob Ross, happy little accident, because it kind of is what I do. But yeah, it happened. Here in front you can see. People say that when the girl she was surprised to see a furry, and I'm like, just as you were surprised to see a furry with this heat, I was surprised to see a human. Everyone is surprised at different things. Well, here you have a friend of mine, defending myself. You have other multiple places. This is the most absurd one as well. How do you call it? A compilation of things that happened in Uruguay. None of the fools from Uruguay appeared, but I did. I don't know. This is the advertisement post. I have to do it. I promise to do it now. I have appeared here in some outlets from a tourist company in Chile. This is from an event that will happen on the 1st of July of 2023. We're going to Furcons in Chile. We're very much going to go up in a bus into the Andes and then show the snow. So if anyone wants to go there, you can message me and follow your information. But this is also a possible scenario when you can cruise around the world. Now, well, this is another absurd one. A Voltron fan comic where someone saw in the street and I'll be there. The box is wandering around. Well, now let's go into something that is not an adventure particularly, but there's always beliefs about fursuiting in public. Well, many people believe that you're going to go outside and pull and shoot a joint like, hurry! No, that doesn't happen. Sorry to write it for you. It may happen really, it's on a very rare occasion, but usually people will sort of confused, ask you what you're going about. Maybe if you go around the corner and fursuit, they will like, like fox. Yes, that does happen sometimes, but they don't get angry, it's just like confused. It also happened to me to go to my oyster card and fursuit, and the lady on the window was like, what? So it happens. People are going to be really cool with you. People are going to ask you potentials. They will ask you what are you doing. Many will want to scan your QR to get your card or whatever to send you the photos. So, on most cases, despite going to get a good treatment. It is true that some people may know what we are and whereabouts, either because they have some knowledge on the internet or they are from close communities like Sonic fans, Pokemon fans, otakus, or all cosplayers. Some people may know about developed things of us, either for the small things, so the isolated cases that bring us all into the bag, or the sensationalist, or how you can say it, not very nice US TV program from the early 2000s that we all know about. So yes, those has given us a bit of a bad publicity, despite that one is the program not even being an actual thing recorded from an actual event. So some people do know about that, but as long as time passes, people start to forget about those whole things. And it's actually rare that someone that is not related to anything like gaming, cosplay, anime, or anything actually knows about what things happen on the internet with us. We have questions. Anyone have any questions? Yes?
Is there any particular places that you wouldn't recommend at all?
I'm sorry?
Is there any particular places that you wouldn't recommend at all? And I'm speaking basically churches.
I'm sorry, totally that.
Is there any particular places that you wouldn't recommend for shooting at all, like churches, synagogues?
Okay. Well, places I would not recommend to push around. That's a good one. Well, you could go to a church or a temple, but you have to ask first if you're allowed. If you do so, try to do it if it's a touristic place, because some churches and temples are touristic places, some ones are not. Try to go where there's no an event or there's anything happening, and it's just open to the public. Go without your full head on, ask the staff, maybe show them a picture on your phone, and like, is it cool that I do this? And they will tell you if it is good or not. Places in general that I don't recommend to go, well, usually don't go to shopping centers, they're going to kick you out. On very few, they may allow you to show your face to go around, but most guards in shopping malls believe they are SWAT, so they're going to kick you out if you're important. Yeah, well, don't go to a bank in Fursuit as well, not even try it, please. Or to your, I'm not sure how you call it here in Britain, the office where you get your actual documentation. Don't go to any official place in Fursuit. Any other question? Yeah?
So,
yes.
You obviously travelled a lot around the world with your suit. Do you have any advice on like how to transport a suit, say if you're flying or?
That is a very good question. Usually what I do when I come like here on Fursuit, anything but my hands, tail, head goes into a biking bag, into my suitcase. And in case anything happens, never dispatch your head, because believe me, if you lose your luggage and you have your head there, you're going to have a really bad time hiding there. Usually my full head, I carry it either on my head or on a shopping bag. And the hands inside the head, on the tail, on the shin bag, underneath the head. If you go on a plane, try that if you have a hand luggage, like a small suitcase, that you're able to fit it in there if they ask you to. But on the case of planes and trains, I forgot to tell you, so thank you, you can pass your full head as either a head or a tail. Yeah, that have worked a few times. So I hope that have answered the question so far. Anything else? No? You sure? Come on, there's a lot. The world has a lot of places. No other questions? Real. Well, you have the socials. You have the QR codes, and you don't have any questions. I don't know what do you want to hear any stories? Well. Anything else stories? Yeah, yes, there is another place where I don't recommend to visit around. I went to an accident that happened to me right before coming to Britain. I was returning from home to Buenos Aires, and suddenly you see these really big avenues that have like a strip of sidewalk in the middle. So if you get caught by the red light, you can stop there. So I was crossing the street, got stopped there, and suddenly I see a reflector pointing to my face. I was in a group of tourists, but I was the only one with fursuit. And when I looked to the light covering, I realized we were in front of an embassy. What? From which country? From the USA. So don't fursuit near the USA embassy. That was totally by accident. I didn't realize, and when I crossed the street, because I had to go that way, there was no one but two guards that looked like Playmobiles or swords or whatever, standing on the door like, "Good morning." I'm like, "Oh, no, I have nothing to do here, sorry." I didn't realize, so that's another place that I recommend for you to go. Well, nothing else, guys? Anything you would like to know? Anything about fursuit carrying in your players? Yes?
What would you recommend if you had very limited storage?
Well, if you have very limited storage, like for example, if you're going like what, a train or a low-cost plane?
Any form of transport. So if you're trying to travel your fursuit and you can't carry it in a big suitcase, put everything in it, what would you recommend?
Well, on those cases, what I do recommend is first go to the mini Paso. So you have head, arms, and tail. Depending on the space, you may have to compromise the tail. It's totally up to you, depending on its size. And then you can use the shopping bag method. If someone tells you something, you put it as a hat, or you put it behind your head on the seat and squish it as if it was a pillow. You crush the bag into your pocket, and you're ready to go. Any other questions? Come on, don't be shy. I promise I don't bite. No, give me something to keep talking about. We still have time. I don't have a much, but believe me, we still have time.
We're 58 minutes in, we are.
Well, we literally have 30 minutes more, so give me something to talk about, guys. Come on, you wrote a book about fursuit. You need to have it. You may have at least one thing that you want to check. No?
Did you make your own fursuits?
I have made it myself, yes.
And what inspired you to make your own instead of going to another person?
Well, I used to have another fursuit that was made of me, right? But I did not like how it was made. I was like, okay, maybe I can do it better. After a week of trial and error, this fursuit originally took me about a year to make because I was like trying to do it when I was feeling inspired. I managed to make something I like. And also that would resist so much anything because I did that with a lot. Because fell stairs, hills, platforms. I fell a lot, I guess. I fell quite a lot. I'm surprised I'm still alive sometimes. Yeah.
I have a question about the security, for instance, on the planes. Do you have, first the question, do you have any kind of electronics in your head, like fans or anything that could, let's say, be an issue on the plane? And if yes, how can you still grab ahead on the plane?
Okay, that is actually
You may have batteries, power banks, fans, LEDs.
Yes, that is a very good question. Well, my fursuit, I know it doesn't have it installed so I can speak properly, but yes, it does have a fan inside that works with a 9-volt battery. I have experience where I once forgot to remove it before going into a plane. I think it was on Bristol Airport. Pretty much, they made me open my bag and they asked you, can you open your bag? And if you say no, then you have a problem. If you say yes, you should tell them, and that's fine. You should have to disconnect it. It's recommended remove from your head any electronics or at least any batteries if you can remove the electronics, and you should be good to go. Your forehead will always have to go through the X-ray, so they won't see anything they need to. Just don't leave anything connected so it doesn't look like a ball. That's pretty much what
So
I
if
do.
you have a head with all the cables all around it, that's gonna be an issue.
Yes and no. As long as you don't, if you remove the power bank or battery from it, it will stop being an issue. Because if it's inside, if you show them what it is, you can even tell them, hey, some lights, I cannot remove them, I remove the battery. Like, if you know you have electronics you cannot remove, one they go up, so they check it out, they, okay, yes, that is exactly what he said. Okay.
Just what I was going to ask.
You can ask something else if you like. Feel free. Like, hey, you, no, you. You in the back. No? Yes.
So, like the public fursuits and stuff, do you have like a favorite interaction with the public?
Well, yes, I do have a favorite interaction. There are actually two of them. The first of them is when someone looks and goes, hey, there's a wolf there, and I turn around at them and I'm like, excuse me, sir, when did you saw an orange wolf? I'm a fox. And they're like, what? Well, he's right. So that's a really fun one. And of course, I proceed to take a card out of my bag and give it to them. I dedicate the card handling to my anthropologist from Buenos Aires that always likes what I have in to run. And the other favorite interaction is, well, there's an interaction I have. There's also that when they're like, oh, when a little kid comes to me and it's like, wow. That's really sweet. I had a situation when I was in a party in a building, and two little kids had fox plushes, which is rare in Argentina, but they were. And someone suddenly touched my shoulder and said, hey, someone is behind you. Turn around, and there were the two kids holding the plushes, like it was like gold or something. That was really sweet. I spoke to the parents, took a picture with them. That was nice. And well, yes, I think those are like the fun interactions. I also have a quote from The Simpsons when people start staring at me like, these guys, they're just folks, and I'm like, don't look at me like that. You could have a son like me. And some may have. Nowadays, it's very common to have furry sons. So yes, I would call those my favorite interactions. Yes. Well, maybe the introduction. I have my introduction in various languages to be able to handle whatever I'm covering. Like, hello, my name is Leo. I'm a furry from Argentina. I'm a red fox from Argentina. Hola, soy Leo. Soy un zorro rojo de Argentina. Меня зовут Leo. И Alexandre Argentinsky. Bonjour, je suis Lyon. Je suis un renard de l'Argentine. Y yo leo un golpe de la Argentina, and they have one more that I put. So that is important. One thing that I can recommend is that if you're not in a country that you speak the language or that you expect that they know your language, have a way to explain history. What are you doing? Because it may happen that someone stops you like, hey, you are charging for pictures. Don't do that. You may know that you have to explain that to guards. For example, I have been to many places, as you know, and I still have some left. So after Confuzzled, I'm going to Tokyo, Japan, because you know where Tokyo is. And for there, I speak no words in Japanese. And English and Spanish may not be that common. So I have prepared some presentation cards. I have my badge. Usually have a badge that comes there. I handle them, and behind says in Japanese, I'm Leo the Fox, a furry from Argentina, and the language is Arabic. And I specify I don't check for pictures, and I QR code to my page on the language. So that is our practice to find. Any other questions? Yes.
You said talked about some of the places you've been before.
Can you speak a bit louder?
You said some of the places you've been before. Where's somewhere that you would like to go that you haven't yet, other than Japan that you're going just after this?
Well, places where I would like to go that I haven't been yet.
Yeah.
Let me think, there's also places. Well, I still yet to go to Australia. I want to go, I've been to Brazil, but not in Fursuit, so I want to go back in Fursuit. I am planning, in fact, 2 trips for the 4 years. 2020, at the end of 2024, we are planning with some of the Chilean crews to go to the region of Magallanes, at the very south of the continent, of the Americas. It's a hike, 6 hours to go there to the snow.
Something just fell off your...
Oh, it's okay, don't worry. I got you like that. It's my foxing out thing. I'm still out, just not foxing. Or I'm still foxing, not an out. I don't know. We'll find out. Other places, yes, I'm going to go to Mexico. I'm planning to go to Confuzzled at some point, the biggest convention in Guadalajara. Well, I actually still need to go to Wales. You may say it's really close, but I haven't been there, so I have yet to do and to inspect. But if I keep on, we'll say all the world. I have a few items that I have to visit, here and there. Far away from the places as well. So yes, I have many places on my list. I have to see which one I can visit. We'll find out how easy it is to do there. So like, you know, here. Next year, we will talk about Japan. Any other questions? Summarize the hand up there or just scratching it?
For me, was there any like, culture shocks when visiting different Furmeets and conventions in other countries?
Yes, it has had a bit of a cultural shock, I must admit. My local convention, for example, has quite a the taste of local, because it's from there, but yet it tries to mimic a lot the convention from the United States. While in here, you have more of your own style of food. You don't try to mimic all the things. In Latin America, that is pretty common. We try to mimic the North. North Europe, you have your own style, which is kind of a big cultural shock for me. I'm not quite sure how to explain it. The conventions always feel like home, no matter which country you are to. And yet, you notice the differences. I always have a cultural shock when I come to the UK, just like I have it here all the time. There's always something that surprises me, either how to use the vending machine, how the coins work there, that you don't use cash, or that kind of shenanigans. That suddenly all the words I use from furry things are pronounced different. Because you probably know that many furry things are still in English, no matter which country you are. But branching can change. For example, for me it's not fursuit, for me it's fursuit. I'm not a furry, I'm a furro. And those kind of things that change, or simple shows that suddenly are really common in furry, but doesn't work in English. Like on Spanish, the word tail and butt are the same word. So when someone touches the tail, you scream, "Hey, who touched my butt?" And that doesn't work in English because they are 2 different words. So yes, I guess those are the differences. Also, some things work better here due to the difference of the country, like needlessly and things like that. But you do have to invest more to come here than if you wanted to go to South America. So those are some of the differences I can spot. Yet, any free convention will always feel like home as long as you're willing to make friends and share with others. I hope I have answered your question.
How common is it that you kind of bump into other people suiting about?
How common is to bump into other fursuiters, you mean?
Yeah, just like as you generally walking around. Does that happen often? Or?
I have only once in 8 years come across another fursuiter that was not aware that the world is around. And once I was in Buenos Aires in the Centenary Park, in a small furry, we were like 6 or 7 people. And suddenly we see that there's another girl with her father, fursuiting around. We're like, "Hey, you come to a furry?" "No, I have no idea." That's the only case where I come across another fursuiter randomly walking around. I do know that some fursuiters, at least in Argentina, go around some things like coffee parties or car shows or things like that, but I haven't come across them. Really, that's the question. Yes.
Maybe not a question, but also advice. A great thing for fursuiting is also Halloween.
Yes, that is indeed a really good point. yes, Halloween is ideal to fursuit around, at least here that is in winter. For us, it is in summer. On my last Halloween Furmeets, it was 30 degrees. It was horrible. We all went out and we went out dressed up on top of our fursuit, and sun 40 degrees were melting, and I was with this. But yes, it is a great situation. I had a few. Well, here is another cultural difference we may have. Here is, I don't think here in the UK is seen as a bad tradition to do things on Halloween, is it? I mean, you tell me, you're from here. I mean, Halloween is kind of a tradition here as well, right?
How long? Two inches.
I mean, if you go dress up on the street, is someone going to tell you you're doing something that is not from here?
No.
Okay, that happens sometimes in Argentina. Along the years, more and more people, force cosplayers and a lot of the queer community, is going out dressed up on Halloween, so it's starting to become more mainstream, but it happens a lot that people shelter you on any costume you're using in Halloween, like you're doing a Yankee thing, this is not something from this country, which is quite absurd, and I'm like, lady, I do this all the year, which is still something for the US, so we don't worry come from there. Yes?
I have to ask, is Argentina a very religious country?
Okay. What kind of country, sorry?
Is Argentina a very religious country?
Not quite really. I mean, it is, but not on the kind that some, like, you're probably referring like on the US that people think that it's kind of a devil thing to pursue, right? Yes, no, that doesn't happen in Argentina. Nothing. I haven't seen anyone in Argentina to relate furs and religion at all. Luckily, so no, it's not something that has happened. I'm not quite aware if that happens here, but I haven't had an interaction in the UK on that relation either. I only had someone try to sell me cheeses on Scotland. That they didn't succeed. Any other questions?
How do you handle general harassment from the public?
I rarely have some. But I'm from a country where it is usual though that someone screams at you randomly. I'm a long-haired person that uses all sorts of things usually. And you may be shouted "puto" when you're on the street. That means faggot, by the way. And so when people scream at you on Argentina, you scream back at them. So for me, it's like if you're in a fursuit and someone so insults you, the best thing you can do is insult them back, because they don't expect the guy in a fluffy costume to shout back to them. So you insult me, I will insult you, and people will be like, "What? The plush just shouted on me." So I kind of handled it well. I never had a situation where someone tried to physically harass me. No, I had a drunken person went straight to my muscle, and I was like, "Nope," and that was the end of the story. So yes, pretty much that way.
We're now in 13 minutes in, just letting you know.
Sorry?
We're now in 13 minutes in, just letting you know.
Pardon?
13, 1 hour, 1:30.
Well, we can go for the last questions if anyone wants to ask something else. No? Nothing else? Yes? No? Yes? Good? No? Okay. Then thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. Have a nice day. No. Thank you for coming. Here you have my social. If you want to follow whatever I do, you will see the video upload on the YouTube channel. Everyone has on their seats a flyer with all the contacts. On the back, it's up here to cars.co. They will have everything I do. And remember, I also make these suits, so if you want a suit that can survive calling Java place multiple times, you can call me. Thank you for calling, and I will see you here. Cheers.